Okay, if we can come to order, our meeting will begin at 3:32. We have a quorum present, and so this is the call to order. I do not have any president's remarks. I have not been given anything to remark on, so we can move forward to item number 3, city administration remarks. Is this Don or Jonathan, or both?
I'll go first.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, board. If you hadn't noticed, some of those banners along Old Betsy have been getting kind of old. So in the past couple of months, we've got 20 new ones. So just about all of them have been replaced. The ones that are getting old and falling apart and sun scorched. So those have been done. There might be a couple more, but Public Works has the new ones and they're replacing them as they get bad. As far as development goes, things are moving along really well. I know Mr. Paul Knight got a chance to go over to Tractor Supply today. I don't know if he got a tour, but they're looking still at a soft opening around the middle of May. As far as all the developments going, Ashton Home Place has over 60 homes under construction, about 10 residents living there, 10 homes, maybe more residents than that. Sunset Ridge is pretty close. The Canyons, we just did a kind of a pre-final walkthrough and did a punch list, and we gave them permits for 2 homes to do their model homes. They're starting on those. We'll finish the punch list up this week and probably accept that subdivision phase 1. And they're going to start phase 2 on the sewer next Monday. So Canyons is moving along well. Sunset Ridge off of Business 67 is getting close. They're still finishing up on the underground utilities from the electric company and AT&T. They put in a pickleball court. They're working on a gazebo, a parking lot, some of the amenities, and doing their sidewalk ramps. So we're probably a few weeks away from doing a final walkthrough on that one as well.
Wow. So.
Tag, you're it.
I second what he said.
Okay, so you have nothing additional. Okay. Item number 4, public comments. Each person in attendance who wishes to speak on an item not posted on the agenda can speak during this section. I have 1 yellow card. Mr. Paul Knott.
Okay, thank you, Type B. My favorite board. Appreciate you all being here. And thank you, Don, for mentioning, those Keene banners look really nice, but they're positioned just like the flags. They take the brunt of a north or south wind. And so I'm glad to see some of them being replaced. And Don introduced me to the project manager over at Tractor Supply, and I met the general manager today, and they committed to joining the chamber.
Wow.
As did Allsup's corporate, they committed to joining the chamber. So both of that is good news. Okay, with Holly's help, I'm just here for 30 seconds to talk about the labyrinth. And the labyrinth that I feel like would be the best is this 9-circuit labyrinth. That one right there looks easy to maintain, easy to build, not a lot of cost in its maintenance. So that 9-circuit labyrinth would be the one that I'm going to propose when we move down the road a little bit. And then the next slide, Holly, and I want everybody to see this. This is the footprint in the pocket park. The white circle represents where it would be located, and that's the footprint. So no one is going to go back to those trees to fly a kite or to play ball back there. And that's it. That's the footprint. So I'm done for now. I'm going to postpone any further presentation on the expense, the timetable, materials, the project manager, until you have a full complement, until Ricky's back, so that I think it's only fair that everyone have a chance to have their input in that. That isn't any problem. We got plenty of time. But please look at that footprint. That's the footprint for the labyrinth. All right, Type
Thank
B.
you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak to anything today during this item? Okay, we'll just move on. There is no public hearing, so we'll go to our general items. Number A, review, discuss, and consider the minutes of the regular Keene EDC Type B Board meeting held on March 18, 2025. Have you all had a chance to read through
Move we
these?
approve them.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Nellie, second. All in favor? Thank you. It passes unanimous. Let's see. Item B, receive and discuss and consider Keene EDC Type B Board Financial Report for the month ending February 28, 2025. I see Mr. Williams is still here with us.
Okay. Right here. Thank you, Board. How you doing?
Very good.
This is for the month of February through February. But before I start the February financial report, kind of give you an update of the amount of sales tax you've been receiving since October to get to this point. In October, we received $34,765. In November, we received $20,297. In December, we received $21,584. In January, we received $28,317. And then in February, we received $38,327 for a total amount at this time of $143,290, which is pretty favorable and is hovering around target. Normally, the target is 41.7%. We're hovering around 42%. So it's pretty good what we're doing thus far in our collections for revenue. And that leads me to the financial report for the month of February. And right now, if you include the 143,000 plus 9,000 of interest income and miscellaneous revenues, this is from grazing of the land, of $11,600. We have a total amount year-to-date through February of $163,992, which is 46.3%, a good almost 5% above our target, which is very favorable. Now on the expense side, we are doing fairly well on that as well. The overall amount of the expenditures, without going into detail, the total amount is $80,936, which is nearly 30% of our target. Which is 30%, which is almost 11% of our target for that. So with that being said, that is very favorable as well, with the revenue being nearly 5% and the expenditures being close to 11% under our target. So those are very good numbers to have through February. And then lastly, but not least, if there's any questions, our money market account, which is showing $547,368. You compare that to last year, which is $507,126. And keep in mind, we've been spending quite a bit in EDCB during the year, especially dealing with different things in the Parks Department, working on fields, the pickleball court, other things that Mr. Martin has alluded to during the year, which he's doing a great job. But this is the end of my report through the month of February. We do have monthly reports that leads up to February at your request. And I'll forward that to our city manager, and he can distribute those to you. I'd be amiss if I don't say this. We have changes in our department. I know I'm stepping on our city manager's feet, but we have a new finance director for the city of Keene. I'm sure most of you know. Her name is Myra Lamb, and I'll be moving off to the sunset. She is diligently, and I would say professionally, doing an awesome job in just within a week. You're in very good hands, more so than mine. She would do an awesome job. And I'm not saying this, she didn't pay me to do this. When I first stepped up here on this podium, Mayor Gary Heinrich was here. He asked me and the council and the city, he said, could you make this happen, this city financially strong again? I challenge you, that's what his words. And I just said 2 words, challenge accepted. I would tell you, she would do greater than I would have done in my 5.5 years. And I just hope my time here was, to me, it was worthwhile, but it was worthwhile to you. It's a joy coming to see you. You don't believe. My wife called it my second home. I said, yeah, it is, because it's here and not up here. And I got up in age now. I just had a birthday Saturday. I'm 66.
60
You're
what?
young. You're young.
66.
60 what?
6.
66.
Mere child.
But it's time. Mr. Jonathan has been absolutely the best since he started here, and he really want me to retire. He's in the same cahoots as my wife, pushing me as well. So yes, Jonathan, you are absolutely right. I'm 200% behind you on everything, and I'm happy. I'm excited. I will come here from time to time. I'm not moving to Florida and things,
Yet.
but not yet. It's in the works, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I thank God for this. This is another part of my journey. Thank you, sir. I want to publicly thank you
Thank you.
for what you've been and done. I mean it. Everything you said, my wife said, so I know it's true.
I only said it because I didn't want her to come hunt me down.
Thank you. But that concludes the February report. If there's any questions, yes, sir.
I would just like to say thank you to Charles, because when Charles landed here, we had just lost all of our records
Yes,
in
sir.
some kind of a hacking or something, and the people we thought were backing up our files were not backing up our files, and the current city financial officer was recording these things and then destroying the original receipt. And we had nowhere to go back to try to figure out. So Charles put all that stuff together, and he did work night and day. If I'd have been his wife, I'd have probably divorced him then. But it was a tough job. It wasn't easy trying to reconstruct all this stuff without the original documents. And destroying original documents, unless you got stuff really backed up, is a bad omen in any business. I know at some time you gotta get rid of them because they'll just stack up, but not right away. And that's what was happening unbeknownst to the council or anybody else. So Charles did a magnificent job coming and doing that for us, and he worked and worked and worked to get it done. So thank you, Charles. And now you're telling me that who comes after you is gonna be greater. I think you just put a real challenge on her, Mira. So, I hope Lamb is not in this. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
And I've had dealings with Mira before, and I know she's very professional, and in
Yes.
fact, I would have rather dealt with her than some of the people they sent me to up there, but she's
Oh,
done
my.
a good job.
Thank you, Charles, for
Yes,
making our
thank you.
report
Yeah.
simple and understandable. We really
Yes,
appreciate
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Let me know when you go to Subway again, and I'll buy you lunch one more time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. It's been a pleasure working with you, sir. And you're not leaving yet.
Okay, so do we have a motion to accept this report? Okay,
Second?
and a second by Gary. All in favor? Okay, it carries unanimously.
By the way, what's the current yield on our money market?
Right now, it fluctuates, it's around 4%.
Somewhere around 4%?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item C, review, discuss, and consider an application for appointment to the EDC Type B Board to fill a vacancy for a 2-year term ending March 2027. And we have several applications here. Is there any discussion? We want to move forward on this item?
Why did Mr. Easley get off? I mean, can you speak, Chuck? I'm surprised you're back.
Yeah,
gonna
you're
be
back.
on the board, but you just got off the board.
Well, my term expired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So did mine. I was reappointed, so I guess.
Right, well, when it came up for discussion in city council, that was a very long meeting, and I asked it be taken off that agenda item to get the meeting closed. Too long of a meeting.
Okay.
So I was required, put it back on,
So you
put
didn't
the
get,
application back in.
you didn't get off the board because you didn't want to be on the board, you
My
were just
term
ready to go
expired.
home.
My term expired. We had already crossed a lot of bridges that night, and we didn't need to talk about it anymore.
So you want back on the board?
And my application's in there. Thank you.
I move that we accept
Second.
Mr. Easley.
Okay, we have a motion by Heinrich to accept Chuck Easley back to the board, and a second by Beeson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, that carries 4-0. Okay, item D, review, discuss, and consider whether a new meeting time for Keene EDC Type B Board regular meetings would assist in more residents' participation on the board. Okay, anyone like to address this item?
Is there some kind of a problem with when we meet for any of the people who meet here? Or, I mean, any of the board members?
Not that I know. I know Dr. Stevens needs it to be at this time because he gives up so many evenings and other times.
So work for you.
So,
Who put it on the agenda?
I don't know.
Well,
He put it on the agenda?
Okay, okay. Would you like to speak about it? Mr. Chapman?
Bob Chapman, 529 Molly. The reason why I suggested it is because I think that to get more people involved, we have to be able to reach out to the citizens. And the citizens have reached out to me and asked, why are the meetings at the time, in the morning, in the afternoon? I said, I don't know. I'll find out. Maybe we can change it. So we can get more citizens involved, then I won't keep hearing the same thing, well, we don't have enough people to fill the boards. We don't have enough people to fill the boards because people do work. People do have things to do during the day.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
I understand that. The other thing is we have staff that have to come to every meeting if it's late in the evening.
Yes.
And their time's taken up because they got council, 4B, 4A, and P and Z, and whatever else we got that meets. Holly has to be at all those meetings, I believe, and many times many of the others, so we kind of run them in the ground too if we move everything to the evening. But I know now that I'm retired, it's a little easier for me, but.
Right, it is easier on us that are retired, but it's not
Yeah,
easier on
right.
people that are still working. So, I mean, I keep hearing we want to have people involved. Well, let's
Okay.
get people involved then.
It's
And let's
true.
give them an opportunity to get people involved.
Okay.
I think 5 o'clock, 5:30 is probably not an unreasonable time to do that, and people can sometimes take off work a little bit early. I mean, I'm looking at all of you all, and y'all are kind of like me. You have a lot of free time. Perhaps not her, but.
Talking about, dude.
And we want to do this for our city, and other people do too. So if you shut them out, they just can't do it. I'm just asking, let's not shut everybody out. Let's give them an opportunity.
Well, as far as the bylaws are concerned, I know we were given a copy of the bylaws this time. I didn't see anything in there that says that we can't set our own time as a board. So we can set our own time. So as it's not a problem at this point in time for the current board, I think we should stay with what we have, but if somebody else has another opinion, I'm not saying that's not a good idea for participation or that it shouldn't be changed in the future. But currently for this board, if they accept Mr. Easley, if the council approves Mr. Easley, which we will recommend, then we don't need to change it at this time. But,
I think if we did, which, by the way, I'm not opposed to what you're saying.
no, I'm not
But
either.
if we changed it, I probably couldn't be on the board. I know Ricky wouldn't be on the board. That's 2 people. So, I mean, you might lose more people on the board than if you change the time versus leaving it where it is.
Well-
I also think, in consideration of the
Staff.
city workers, you know, it is, I know, I don't come to the Thursday night
Councils?
councils because it's so long, you know, and I
And
have
late.
kids to put to bed. And I know Holly has to drive quite a ways. I think, you know, if they have something important to say, I agree, we need to get more people involved, but also if there's something important they need to say, we need to bring it to the agenda and maybe make a special meeting or something, I don't know. But
Well, I understand that, but this has been put off 2 or 3 times now. We've had people that do want to serve, people in my neighborhood want to serve. Can they serve? No, it's been put off until apparently Mr. Easley has decided to run. And now, what's it look like to you guys? What's it look like to the public?
What do you mean, what does it look like to the
I
public?
mean, you're not letting people have opportunities
That's not true,
to come
man.
in
That's
and
not true.
come to the meetings. No, they can't come
Why can't they come?
because they work.
Well, I work.
Well, I work, I mean, I
I-
make arrangements.
we
for
make
my kids,
arrangements. I mean-
I get it.
different stuff, and
But you all live here in Keene. People that live here in Keene and work elsewhere, it's very difficult for them to do. Would you not agree? You live here and you work here.
Let me
And I'm not trying to be,
understand what you're saying.
I think we all do.
I've now been 35 years in the city of Keene, nearly as long as Joe Biden was in Congress. And what we have found is over time, even having council meetings in the evening, we got very little turnout. You know, if you want to talk about a city that's got 7,200 population, how many people are you getting to council now? Unless it's a red-hot item. Now, I guarantee you, if you talk about annexation, you'll get them out from everywhere. They're like fire ants
Sure,
in.
yeah.
But typically, we've always had very few people. So, I don't know, evening, daytime, whatever, we just don't get big turnouts unless there's a hot item.
and I agree with that. I mean, you know, I'm on the council and I see who doesn't come.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 5 people that come. and it's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I'd like to change it. The only way to change things is to make things in motion going that direction. Wouldn't you agree? You have to get things going in motion for people to understand and accept it. So that's all I'm suggesting. Let's try to make some kind of a time that works for other people, not just the people that are here.
Right.
And I don't want Holly to be here all the time. I don't. But we're growing. We have to be able to change with what's going on. And we have more people moving in. We do have people that want to make a difference, just like me. I'm not up here causing trouble. I'm up here trying to make a difference.
Well, I appreciate you bringing it up. For me, I do live close, but I drove 45 minutes to get here today. But I planned ahead, and I knew it was on the schedule already. And so I believe if people want to be involved in their community, the time of day is not the thing that will inhibit them from attempting to get on a board. I think for the current board, the time we have works for us. I don't disagree with you. I think everybody should get involved. Maybe there's another board they can be involved in that meets in the morning or in the evening. But this board meets at 3:30 on the first Mondays or Tuesdays of the month.
And Type A board meets at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they used to meet at 7. I recall that, so AM. So I just think that once these people get on the boards and they set their time, and then as time changes, then yes, this may come up again. And I think, I agree with the point, we might get more outside participation. But currently, and maybe even in 2 or 3 weeks, this might need to come back again if we are looking for additional people to the board.
I
So-
would like to see Ricky here when we discuss
Yes.
that, and our other board member.
Right.
How it affects our
And
schedule,
we
yeah.
sort of have a small contingent today, so it's not a bad idea if we want to.
I don't think any of us say we don't like your idea. I just
Right.
don't like your idea.
Today,
Well, thank you,
okay.
Donnie. All right.
Thank you very much.
I would really like for it to be considered with the board that as the town grows, we make changes to make sure that other people are represented. Because it's about representation, right? You all have always done what you do because you like it and you want to help. So I do the same thing, and I've made changes to my life for this reason, so. Thank you.
Can I make a
appreciate it.
suggestion? Holly, I don't know how hard it would be, but on the actual application, could we add a field that,
What time's best for you, whatever?
yeah, something like that, because, it specifically states we're gonna hold this for X amount of years. And then that would be a good metric to kind of start tracking, to look, to see,
Right.
how many people are interested, because, I'll be honest, there's been times in my life that I like to use excuses to not do something. And I'd be curious, if we can go back to these individuals and say, hey, put your application in, there's a place in there that says what's best for you. Then we can actually, put a metric to it versus,
Okay, that'd be great. I would like to add, though, that I worked about 62 hours a week in my career, every week. And I use that as an excuse not to participate. And I am trying to make sure that I realize what I did and that other people realize that things can happen, things can change, and they can make a difference.
I agree with
Yeah,
you.
I'd like for the board to consider this as we move on, okay?
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Move to table?
Okay, we have a motion to table, a second. All in favor to table? Passes 4-0 to table. Okay, receive an update on seeking bids for possible mowing contract for city parks and areas, and give direction to staff on how to move forward with the maintenance of green spaces. Mr. Seitz, is this you, or is this?
no, this one's me.
Okay.
This one.
Thank you.
Are you sure?
So, obviously, you all have been involved a lot longer than I have, with just being here for 4 months. And this was, for whatever reason, kind of a hot ticket item. And so I don't think I need to get into the past of park maintenance and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, this was something that I'd kind of tasked Dawn with, taking and running with, and Kit. And we were having a hard time getting bids. And to the point finally where I told Don, I said, listen, and Kit even reached out to, and Don reached out to even like Burleson. And a lot of companies, even in Burleson, don't want to come out to Keene because their business is in Burleson. And like any service industry, the further away you go, the more expensive it gets. And so I finally asked Don, I did the research, and I said, listen, send a bid to Lawn Tech, to Cornerstone, and to Don's. And Don could tell the timeline probably better than I could, but it took me several weeks of finally, well, have we heard anything back? No. Have we heard anything back? No. And so it was very important to me that we get some sort of comparison, because I don't know, are we getting a good deal or are we not? And so Don said, no, haven't heard anything, and I said, I'm going to go knock on their doors. And so I went to Lawn Tech and couldn't even really find the front door, and finally found myself in the back where the service people were, and there was a lady there that was very helpful, but her comment to me was, oh, well, yeah, we saw your email, but we just haven't responded, and we're not even sure we have the people to take care of you. So me not wanting to beg anyone to do business with our city took that as I'm not interested. So I went to Cornerstone, knocked on their door, and very nice people, very, very nice. They went looking for the email. They found it in their junk mail. Owner was on the phone. He said, I am so sorry. I apologize. I'm going to get right on this. I'll be out there tomorrow. You'll have a bid the next day, a quote the next day. And he did exactly what he said he would do. And he only bid on the park and the city hall. And there's a spreadsheet here that you can see that just those two areas, not including the pocket park or the welcome sign, he's about $20-some thousand higher than Don's Lawn Service all-in price. It looks like this. Yeah.
It's behind the bylaws.
So, and there's the quotes that are included. And at this point, spring had come, it was warm, and I'm sitting in my office looking at weeds that were getting anywhere from 6 to 12 inches high. And also already receiving calls from people saying, when are you going to mow the, when are you going to take care of the park, those types of things. And I knew that if I didn't jump on this, we would find ourselves with even more complaints. So I made the executive decision, and of course, I'd never met Mr. Bowersox before, up until he said, hey, I'll be out there today if I need to. He met with us, walked through everything. So long story short, it was brought to my attention that I may have done some things illegally, and of course, I don't ever want to do that. But after spending time researching and everything else, it was explained to me that because this was a budget line item that you guys had budgeted for, this bid actually saves the city money. We're fine. Now, from what was explained to by our attorney is that in the event that there's a line item budget item that you set a budget for, the city can go and operate. I also, ironically enough, was in PFIA training, which is financial education for municipalities, the last 2 days. And yesterday, it was brought to my attention that technically a municipality doesn't even have to get 3 bids if it is a budget item. Now, it's just best practices. And so I think that as evidenced, we did do best practices. Because if this were my personal business, this is exactly what I would want to have done. So there's the evidence there. We're saving the city money. And it is the board's right to, if they do a line item budget, to say, yes, we want to see 3 bids. And so in the future, if that is something you want to see, even though it's a budgeted item, we will always yield to what you all request. But again, this was something that kind of got inherited. I was moving quickly, trying to get things accomplished, and hopefully, you all don't feel like I overstepped or I stepped on anybody's toes on the board, because that is never my intention. So, any questions?
Personally, once it comes, if it's all in the budget and fine, and we get a couple of bids, we bring them to this board and we pass them. But I think this board should pass them. And then be on our way.
It would be nice if the bids were brought to us so we can see, and then you make your recommendation,
Yeah.
and our board would then move on, I'm sure, with your recommendation. Isn't there a little item here that it can just be renewed also? Is that put in
Yeah,
as
yeah, I
an
think-
item in his?
So because this is kind of historically, and again, this was information that was shared with me from predecessors, this is, to me, not something that's worth kind of spending a lot of time on every year. And so I had asked Mr. Bowersox if he would tweak the agreement to state, in the event that there isn't a budget item change or he doesn't increase his prices, you know, can we auto-renew? And it's kind of, when you read the contract, we can terminate at any point with 30 days. So if all of a sudden he's not doing a good job or whatever reason, we can terminate this contract whenever. So it's really, I don't know, the world I come from, that's more of a formality. And it's also a tactic that's used to lock pricing in, because as we know, pricing is going up. So auto-renew contracts are very beneficial in the event that it keeps people to hold their pricing so that it doesn't inch up all the time.
So if, for instance, you brought it to us in January and February and say it looks like it's just going to continue on, and then we can say, okay, great, et cetera, and then it doesn't have to be such. But if prices are going to go up, and I know sometimes these folks will come to you and say, everything is costing us so much more, we're going to have to raise the price. So anyway,
And that doesn't keep me from going and doing a spot check.
right.
You know, it doesn't mean that I can't go and say, hey, you know, or if someone comes and says, I want a quote on it, I mean, it's still allowed. It's just more,
Okay, so,
I can say that when we were using Don, the park never looked better.
amen.
And then we decided to kind of take it over ourselves, if I remember right.
We tried, I don't know, we may still have those people on staff at the city public works, I don't know.
Yeah, we hired another guy at city to do certain things, plus maintain that. And he wasn't really very good at lawn care. I have been over here and mowed part of the park myself with my own mower because it looked so bad
bad.
for a while. But I'm glad we're back to Don, and if you look at the numbers we got here, Don is, all of his numbers are $43,965, and Cornerstone was $72,549.96. Don's lawn is $28,584.96 less than the other bid. Lawn Tech didn't give us a bid, so what do you do? But we had a guy in the lawn care business here in town that was always fussing about
Yeah, where's he?
how much they made, but we let him do a few jobs one time, and it cost us more a month than Don's lawn care was charging us, so I confronted him with that, but
I appreciate that Don's lawn service is in Keene, the city, you know. If we have a guy from Keene, local, that supports us and gives us a good price, why not go with him?
well, and again, I didn't know him until I sat down across from him, and he told me his story. And, you know, sometimes we give discounts to things that we have a heart for. And so, I don't know, he seemed like a nice, upstanding guy to me, and he's helping us stay within our budget. So, to me, it was a win-win. Ultimately, right now, I'm kind of backpedaling and trying to cross my T's and dot my I's. And again, I've promised transparency, and so that's what I'm here tonight to tell you. this afternoon, what I'm here to tell you is to be transparent to the citizens and everything else, to know that, you know, we did this with integrity and best intentions, so.
I'd like to address that. We received a letter from our mayor that is accusing a lot of things, all right? First off, that you may not be ethical and that the process may not be correct. I can't tell you about the legalities of it, although you've stated since then that there is a legal way to get a contract without 3 bids. It's insinuating that if we just let it go forward, that our own personal standing in the community could be affected. Did you read that? Okay. I don't appreciate that. I just don't appreciate it. If you want to read it, you can. That just doesn't make any sense to me. First off, I can't speak for the board, but I trust you. You're hired to be the manager of this city. That's right. All right? If the council doesn't like you or you're unethical, it will be found out. Last board meeting we had, you told us you were having a hard time getting somebody to bid on the lawns. We were talking about the grass growing and what you were going to do. You did the right thing. You got someone to mow the darn yard, and you worked it out. First off, Miss Mayor, I'm not worried about my standing in the community, so we want him to do what's right for our city, and I think you did the right thing. Maybe you didn't follow the rules, I have no idea, but you did the common sense right thing. Don Bowersock's not somebody we just picked out of the phone book. He's been in this community his whole life. He's got a standing history here. It's not like you went out on a limb. Even if you didn't know the guy, we know the guy. He's done a hell of a job in the past, so I'm hoping that I can speak for myself on this board. Don't you worry about the legality and the ethical standings in our community. Just do your job and keep our park looking nice and do it as cheaply as you can so we can use the people's money frugally.
For
Anyway.
more fun things in the park, like the
Yeah,
lights.
I mean,
For the
so-
pickleball court, which I was hoping we would hear about.
so anyway, I just,
I second.
that's all. I just think
Okay.
everything was
I
done.
appreciate it. I take my name, it's the one thing my parents said, that it's one thing people can't take from you. And so when it comes to my name and integrity, I take it very seriously.
Well, your parents did set your stuff pretty sights high.
And by condoning your process that you went through, we're going to show the community our board's ethical behavior, our transparency, and even the character of every board member. Some with notable careers in our community. We need to think that decision out. I think we thought it out. I think you did a good job. I think you did what's best for our city, and let's just move on.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
And we 30'd.
okay, all we have to do is tell him to move forward and recommend that he go forward and sign the best contract we have, and it appears it is Don's Lawn Service. So this doesn't ask for a motion, but if someone wants to make a motion, they can.
We probably need a motion
Okay,
to,
so is there a motion to accept the Don's Lawn Service?
Can we make a motion on an item that's,
Can we do that?
We make a motion to accept what Mr. Seitz has already decided to do.
give direction?
Can we do that, Ollie?
Can we make a motion, or can we just give
Because
direction?
this item doesn't call for a motion, it just says to direct staff.
Correct. It doesn't say to take action, so it would be give direction to the city manager
Okay.
and continue.
Which is within the confines of what he is allowed to do, since it's a budget item, okay?
but have we had a motion to use Don's Lawn Care? Anytime in the
You can take a
past?
consensus.
I don't think it matters
Not a
from
motion,
what,
You can take a consensus.
Oh,
we can take a consensus, is there a consensus for him to move
I
forward?
agree.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think we all
Okay.
should
Fine
agree.
with me.
okay, yes,
I'm
and move
transparent.
forward.
And if
on
it
that.
needs to be on the agenda, just do it for next month.
But we do need to start getting things cut and handled.
Well, he's,
Oh,
it's,
Okay,
they want to speak?
these two fellows want.
the city council now?
No.
No, because they already accepted our budget. It's a budgeted item, and so we get to choose. So we can move forward. Yes. Yes.
Agree, we
Yes, sir,
agree, we
that's
agree with you
correct.
100%, so.
From everything that I read, that's correct.
Just vote to support?
I think we all
Yes,
shook our
we
heads
did.
in support.
We said yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, moving forward, there is no executive session this time. And so item number 9 is to request future agenda items. And I guess I just want to put on the agenda to hear more about the pickleball court lights, because I came home the other night in the dark and I thought, good grief, such a beautiful night, they could be out there playing.
We are, it's on the whiteboard.
Okay,
So what I had mentioned to help do was, there's some online places where you can go lay out your pickleball court, and it tells you how many lights you need in an area. That's all I was gonna do. I'll be glad to call a couple electricians that are friends of mine.
Well,
Um,
yes, well,
Yeah, we can talk about it later.
any help we can get.
talk to them
Yes.
afterwards
I'm
not a-
about it.
Yes and
Very,
yes?
very, very busy, so any help I can get is awesome.
Okay,
Do we
And I
need to
just-
put that on the agenda, or so we won't get another letter of grievance?
we should be.
Sure, we can put that on the agenda.
Okay.
And I did reach out to Troy Smith again as well. He has a friend that does fences, and it sounds like he's tried to reach out to us, but I've asked Troy to have him reach out to us again.
Did you check your
or give
spam and
me-
your trash?
Or give me, I don't know his
Do
name,
you
so
need us to do that? Can't you just put that little fence up and just take it out of a budgeted item somewhere?
we're going to.
What's that?
We're going to.
The budget for the
Well, we
pickleball
need to
courts.
put it on the agenda
But
so
we need to
won't
put it on
get
the
another
agenda
letter.
just to get approval for costs and all that stuff.
Did you talk to Cup, the guy that put the fence up the first time?
I don't know. who-
Kevin Cup? He
I
put it up.
haven't talked to him, no, about that.
Okay,
What fence is it we need?
Well, one of the courts is a
Between
different.
the courts?
Yeah, one of the courts is different. The balls are always going behind them and whatnot, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
We'll do our best to look into that before the next meeting. Also, I'd like to say, if I may, that Erna has posted today kind of a community involvement that talked about, correct me if I'm wrong, projects that are coming up in the park, like we discussed about, like a skate park, and kind of rate those, and that should have been posted today online.
Okay, so they're doing like a survey.
A survey, yeah, to get the public's input, which is part of the process on something that's not a budgeted line item and things like that. And then also about naming the pocket park and ideas of what may go in there. And Mr. Paul's Labyrinth was one of the choices on there, so.
Pretty excited, huh, Gary? Thought so.
Some church on Trail Lake, I think. I've been under the weather for a month, so I haven't been in.
Are there, okay, Mr. Knott?
Go relax and get some fresh air.
Sure, let's put it, let's
Put the
look
labyrinth
at the
on?
pocket park development on the next agenda.
Okay,
Circles you back out, there's only one entrance
But if you're,
and one exit.
you're dying.
I think we put a deadline of the week prior to the next
To the
meeting.
next meeting.
To kind of close that survey out, so we'll have
Oh,
some
good.
numbers for you by then.
Thank you, guys. Move to,
I would like to see us put, if we're gonna use that park down there for anything, we've got parking there now. Did we put a sidewalk from, Shady Oak along the north side to that park?
oh, yeah,
Past, where Toby Watts lives.
yes,
So
that
people
is.
can get to it with strollers or whatever.
Okay,
Right.
yeah, we've had several hands, Mr. Chapman?
I just wanted to make a statement that none of my conversation was about Mr. Easley or anybody else being on the boards. It was about just giving people in the city of Keene an
Yes,
opportunity to
of course. Yes, thank you.
I'm glad you cleared that.
I am too, actually. I'm glad you cleared that up because I thought you didn't like Chuck Easley.
It's a long list, he can join.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Okay, thank you. It is 4:21.
I'd like to read this letter.
Oh, you can have mine.
I just need one.
Here.
I got it in my email.
I have everything up here. Here's the street at the state.
Oh.
In case you want to.